Okay, good afternoon. It's a pleasure for us being in this group of the new European Bauhaus in order to make a presentation about how our office has used and the ideas that are behind the use of the wood. I mean, it will be very simple to explain about the fantastic features of the wood as a material for the construction. Everyone knows the quality, the possibilities that this material offer, the possibility of creating systems articulated, the capacity of saving CO2 in the atmosphere, the environmental capacity of this material. So I think that we would like to insist yes, about the values, the special values of the wood using in the construction. As we sincerely believe that it's one of the materials that provide with more possibilities in order to achieve, yes, the requirements and the commitments in relationship with the environmental approach in construction. So, but we wanted to also to express in a different way the value of the use of the wood in the 2 or 3 specific projects that we are going to show you just now. The first one is a project that we did yes in the northwest of Spain that is used basically yes is the northwest, you know, Galicia, where there are a lot of forests. So there is a production of wood that unfortunately the majority of this production is used just for factoring the paper, but not for the construction. So we did 2 projects. We wanted just to introduce the idea that it is possible just another, through the architecture and the use in the construction, to improve the value, the economical value of the wood, and particularly the wood that at the moment is the most usual in this area in Galicia, which is the eucalyptus. And I repeat, the people and the cities and the village, the constructors, they are not accustomed just to work with this material, and we decided to work with it. In both cases, the first one is just a swimming pool, a prototype of swimming pool that was in Galicia. We used the wood precisely with this idea, how to integrate the architecture and the industrialization, a new industrialization that could be based on the idea of producing with high quality, with high value, economical value, providing us with the people that is working there with more possibilities, with more benefits, yes, in order to create a new companies, a new richness in the, and to create new position for working. The task of unemployment people here, especially in this area, is very high, and just providing with extra value using the wood for the construction, we could at the same time to create a kind of some investment just in this industrial grid that was very important. So the social value and the integration in between the architecture, the construction in this case, and the society, the economical context, using precisely the wood as a fantastic device, as a fantastic tool for guaranteeing this. This project, this region is not very rich, and what they wanted is just to provide with people, very little village with a little people, with some areas of a covering swimming pool. They have not money for creating a specific work for each of the village, and they decided to promote just a national competition for making just a prototype that should be displayed in 5 or 6 different little villages. So with the idea precisely of saving economical resource, of making something that could be prefabricated as much as it's possible, and just using materials, local materials, as a system, I repeat, of integrating in the context and just in the economical situation. We decided, you know, that in the Northwest rain a lot, so we decided to work in a very compact, with a very compact volume, where the roof will be a kind of big drain paper that collect off the water. The water slide down through this section and was collected precisely at the end of this here. You can see was collected precisely just here. So all the water slide, and we collect the water here, and this water was at same time collected and translated to the depuration. So you can see how simple is the building, in fact, the section. And inside you can see we make also with the construction, with the pillars were prefabricated as were precisely as the beams, and everything is covered with the material that is coming with this eucalyptus that is coming from the forest that are surrounding, and that were used for I repeat, for the construction. Although in some countries, for instance Australia, the eucalyptus is a material that is used for the construction, not here, because here what happened is that they cut the trees very young, in order to smudge very easily the mud for paper. And precisely what happened is that you have to leave the trees growing up much more, with 40 years, 30 years, which guarantee the quality of the wood. This is fantastic, because then what happens is that the forest is living for much more time, and what happens is that you can administrate precisely the economical resource of the wood, and you can reorganize the replantation of the forest. So everything has advantage. And then this is the idea, using the architecture as a system for providing with a kind of growing economical context in an area that was really quite poor. So the second project, you can see here, these buildings were made along for 6 or 7 years. We finished it just 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when in Spain was very difficult to use the wood, in fact, and was not very common, because we have lost this tradition. No? And the second project that you can see here is a project that is also in Galicia. This was finished 5 years ago. This building is not connected just to the grid. It's completely independent from the energetical point of view. And in this case was a little different, because this is a company that is precisely is a company about engineers that is continually researching and investing money in the making investments in the clean energies. And this was also a national competition. We were fortunate at winning, and we work here independently of the plan. We work here with another idea that for us is very important, is the capacity that some materials, in this case of the same wood, the eucalyptus, offer us just for industrializing, which means at the same time that the possibility that this articulated construction offer in order to recycle after the wood. In this case, exactly, we select very well the trees. We study. I learn a lot with these people that has been working for years in the eucalyptus wood, but basically, I repeat, we did this idea of transforming the economical context of the area. And finally, we make an effort with some wood engineers, people that know very well the behavior of the wood a lot of the time. We decided to create this system. It's a system for the facade. It's a little sophisticated, but the quality and the maintenance of the wood is unbelievable. And what is very important is that we can recycle perfectly this facade. The result is that at the end, although we are working materials very simple, we can create a fantastic architecture. In fact, this building received very prize in architecture. I always try to say my colleagues that the architecture committed with environmental issues not necessarily means that has to be ugly architecture. Is an opportunity for creating a fantastic, efficient, technically and very beauty architecture. And this is the result of this, in some way, quite sophisticated and engineering work, not in terms of we use a sophisticated technology, is that we study very well the details in order to make this articulation. This is the result of some spaces for working spaces where people can. And finally, we are now working in a project that is using as well the wood. Is a very attractive, in our opinion, project. In fact, we are making a kind of investment of time and money for creating this mobile home. I know that the mobile home is nothing new. is just is a chance, an opportunity that a lot of citizens at the moment they are thinking about, especially after this pandemic. So not necessarily means that we have to think in terms of the land, in terms of the property of the land. This is something that, particularly from Spain, is very important. This idea that we can move just with the house, which probably take out the value of the land, and they can introduce some values in terms of how the housing market could be much more accessible just for people that are not precisely rich. This is a modular system. We are working with different sizes. For this, for instance, is a wood house that you can move, is divided in 3 elements. You can move. It's very easy, yes, for moving, of course, and for the montage is really very easy, very efficient. And our target, and this is a passive house standard, and what we have for us is we are very proud in the sense that we have reduced a lot just the cost, which means obviously that the prices are also quite moderated. The result is that we have 60 square meters with 2 bedrooms, just with the living room, just with some areas, and this is everything is made with the wood, I repeat, and we are covering just with this steel layer. This is a very simple montage that you can see that everyone can do. Is very simple and is based on the use of this panel that has an important isolation white, and together with, and it's very easy. I repeat, it's a little Meccano, and at the moment it's orientated just for areas that for people that need just to restoring, yes, for making rehabilitation of the different areas in the city. Yes, they have to occupy these modules, yes, for 6-8 months during the process of rehabilitation of their own house. Also for young people, also for old people, and obviously we have studied, yes, the different systems, yes, for the addition, etc., etc. So the idea is that there, in my opinion, there are, obviously we have speaking about the wood, and we can speak, I repeat, about probably there are people that know much more than me about the technical values and the requirements and the efficiency that we can get with this. We can go with this with the wood as material for the construction. But for us, it's extraordinarily important to, when we speak about these materials and when we speak about the environmental approach, and when we speak about this idea of the Bauhaus, to underline that we shouldn't not speak about the commitment of the architecture with the context where when this architecture is built. So this is the most important. So the context, the reality is a fantastic result for doing architecture. So in my opinion, this is the first condition for creating an architecture really committed with the environmental approach. And I think that in this context, any material, in this case the wood, that is fantastic, is a system also for establishing a relationship with the economical context, with the social context, with the cultural context, with the historical context. So is the material, in this case the wood, who is transformed in a fantastic device, and the mechanism is fantastic for establishing the relationship between an architecture that many times has forgotten the context where he has to work, with precisely this context. So it's not a paradox in between the idea of the cosmopolitan architecture or just and the contextual architecture. I think that it's obvious that we have very different material, we have a very global market, but if the architecture is not aware about with the use of some materials, with the use of some system, in this case the wood, they can establish the relation, I repeat, not only physical, but also social and economical approach in relationship with the context is really is a sadness. So thank you. Our work is not only making good, but we believe that in certain contexts, in certain circumstances, is the use of the wood is a fantastic mechanism for establish and repeat the relationship with the context. Thank you very much.